Hi, my name is Morgan Alexander, and today I will be presenting on a story map representation of historic weather and climate events in the state of Georgia. A story map representation of 26 key meteorological and climatological events in Georgia was created to serve as an outreach effort to the public by the University of Georgia's Extension. ArcGIS software, as well as multiple historical sources, were used to create a visual timeline of these events. So if you would like, you are more than welcome to scan this QR code or even put this link in your internet browser to go to the story map we created and basically get a visual of what we did this past summer in order to communicate to the public the history of Georgia and its weather and climate events. In order to make this story map, we used Esri's ArcGIS Online StoryMap tool, and then within our story map, we were also able to utilize the Survey 123 and Web Map tool, and I'll talk about that more in the results section of this presentation. We explored multiple sources to find those 26 key meteorological and climatological events featured in the story map. The sources that we used included the USGS, NASA, NOAA, National Weather Service, the Georgia Archives Virtual Vault, Georgia Emergency Management Agency, Digital Library of Georgia, and the Georgia Historic newspapers. The vast number of sources here allowed us to really get a holistic view of what has occurred in the state of Georgia. If you were able to scan that QR code or even put that link into your internet browser, you were able to take a look at what our story map consisted of. And throughout the story map, there are a lot of different ways that we were able to relay the information. Right here is a list of highlights from our story map, and I'll go ahead and walk through each and every one of them with you. So right here is an interactive map of events featured. If you go hover above these icons and then click on them, you'll be able to see what event took place in this area of Georgia and what year it occurred. And so right here we have the Rough Ridge Fire in 2016. If we go down here, the Georgia hurricane that occurred in 1898. So it's just a really cool interactive tool that anyone can play around with. The next highlight of our story map was interesting quotes that we were able to feature in our story map. Here is a quote by General John J. Pershing, and he says, "I thought all along Columbus would make a good army post, but I'm beginning to think it would also be used by the Navy." And what happened was he had visited this location twice, and both times he was there, the site actually flooded. So another interesting way that we were able to relay this historical information to the viewers was by actually finding some poetry. And so this poem called The Whitestone Flood by Danny Attaway talks about the Whitestone Flood. And we just really focused on getting all types of mediums in here to intrigue the reader and really get them fascinated on the different extreme events that have occurred in the state of Georgia. This next tool in StoryMap was one that I found very fun. And so you're able to upload 2 images, basically slide the bar to be able to compare and contrast. And we were able to utilize this in multiple parts of our story maps. So in the 2008 Atlanta tornado outbreak, the West End Plaza was affected by the tornado. And so this is the first image of the West End Plaza before the tornado hit downtown Atlanta. And then if you slide it over, this is after. So you can really see the effect that the tornado had on downtown Atlanta. Another way we were able to portray these events was through different newspaper headlines, and we were able to find archives of the many newspapers in Georgia. This is the Marietta Daily Journal, and it is highlighting the Gainesville storm that had a total of 160 deaths. And if we go here, there's an embedded slideshow, and you can look at other images that we found in other newspapers, such as the Atlanta Constitution and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Embedding multiple videos was another interactive way that a viewer could learn about these weather and climate events. Another cool feature that we were able to put in the story map was the ability for a viewer to share their story of weather and climate events in the state of Georgia. So one story that's featured is John and Pam Knox's 2008 encounter with the Atlanta tornado outbreak. They were staying at the Four Seasons Hotel while the tornado swept through Midtown Atlanta. Here's a quote by John Knox that was in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and it says, People who go storm chasing out in Oklahoma and Kansas don't see as much in 2 weeks as we did in 10 minutes. So if a viewer is going through this story map and they've actually experienced a weather event in Georgia, they can go to this link right here, and it's also at the end of our presentation, and they can tell their story, and it can be featured in the story map. Once they click on that, they're taken to an ArcGIS 123 survey, and they're able to choose where the event occurred. They can type in their address, or they can move the little icon bar here to the location, put in the date of when the weather or climate event occurred, choose what type of weather or climate event it was, and then tell their story. They're also able to include photos. So as you can see, story maps are a great way to allow you to create compelling presentations that encourage learning and community involvement. As for the future directions of this project, we are aiming to add new content, whether that be new weather events that occur, survey responses that come in through our Tell Us Your Story ArcGIS 123 survey, or even just a continuation of searching the archives for older events that have occurred. Thank you so much for paying attention to this video, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions.